I am honestly so thrilled you're here because we're tackling a topic that is just so universally human, deeply relatable, and, let's be real, a little bit exhausting. Have you ever received a compliment? You know, a totally genuine, well-meaning piece of praise, and instead of just simply saying thank you and feeling great about yourself, you suddenly freeze up, or worse, you immediately start deflecting? Someone says, wow, you did an incredible job on that presentation, and your brain instantly screams, it was nothing. I actually messed up the third slide, and I'm pretty sure everyone hated it. Why do we do this? Why do so many of us literally spiral into self-doubt the second we're handed positive feedback? Well, today, we are unpacking the fascinating psychology of people who overthink compliments.
Think about the massive disconnect here. On one side, we have the giver's intent. When someone praises you, their goal is almost always positive. They want to uplift you, they want to offer some encouragement, and they want to validate your hard work or your talents. It's a gift, right? But then, look at the reality of receiving that praise if you're an overthinker. Instead of feeling uplifted, you experience this wave of internal panic. You feel suspicious, wondering, okay, what do they really want from me? You feel this profound sense of awkwardness, where you're suddenly completely unsure of where to look or what to do with your hands. It is a massive disconnect between the input and the output. We are effectively taking a psychological gift and reacting as if we've just been handed a ticking time bomb.
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to Section 1, the compliment paradox. Let's actually track this overthinking spiral in real time, because it happens so fast. It all starts at second 1. The words, "great job," leave your colleague's mouth. Now, at this exact second, it's just positive data. But by minute 5, the seed of doubt has totally been planted. Your brain starts whispering, wait, did they actually mean it? Were they just being polite? Are they buttering me up because they need a favor? The compliment is already mutating. And then we hit hour 2. The positive data has been completely hijacked by anxiety, and you arrive at this terrifying absolute conclusion. Well, they think I'm great, which means now I have to be perfect forever. Do you see how quickly a simple pat on the back escalates into an impossible lifelong standard? The praise itself isn't the problem here. It's the wild narrative our brains construct in the hours that follow. Which brings us right into Section 2, the hidden weight explained. So what is this hidden weight? It's defined as the invisible pressure, the expectations, and the burdens carried by praise. See, when you're an overthinker, a compliment is never just a compliment. It's more like a heavy, invisible backpack that someone has just cheerfully strapped to your shoulders. If someone says you are the most reliable person on the team, they think they're just being nice, but you feel the hidden weight. You think, great, I can never, ever make a mistake or be late again, or I'm going to completely let them down. We don't just hear the nice words, we immediately calculate the future cost of living up to those words. Understanding that praise has this inherent, invisible weight is absolutely crucial to unlocking why we react with such intense avoidance. Let's move on to Section 3, why we overthink praise. It's time to look under the hood at the psychological machinery. There are really 4 main psychological triggers kicking off this overthinking. First up, questioning the giver's motives. If you have trust issues, your brain's default defense mechanism is to assume the compliment is just a manipulation tactic. You immediately think, okay, what's the catch? Second is the fear of new expectations, which we just touched on. Praise raises the bar, and raising the bar just means a higher likelihood of future failure. Third is a really fascinating one, cognitive dissonance. This happens when the praise you receive fundamentally contradicts how you view yourself. If you have low self-esteem and truly believe your work is, just mediocre, and someone calls it brilliant, your brain experiences this painful friction. The positive feedback just doesn't compute with your negative self-image, so your brain actually rejects the compliment just to maintain its own internal consistency. And finally, imposter syndrome, the paralyzing fear that this compliment is the very thing that will finally expose you as a fraud. You're thinking, sure, they think I'm smart, but if they only knew how long that actually took me, they'd realize I'm faking it. It is a crowded, incredibly noisy psychological battlefield in there. But here's the thing, not all compliments are created equal. Just look at the difference between praise for effort versus praise for talent. If someone praises your effort, saying, wow, I can tell you worked incredibly hard on this, the psychological weight triggered is actually pretty light. The focus is on your process. It's something you can control. You can just choose to work hard again tomorrow. But if someone praises your talent, saying, you are a natural-born genius at this, the psychological weight is massive. It triggers this intense, suffocating pressure to maintain innate performance. perfection. Because if you're a genius, you shouldn't have to try, right? So the very next time you struggle, you are going to feel like a total failure. Praising an immovable trait rather than a controllable action literally spikes that hidden weight to unmanageable levels for an overthinker.
Finally, let's bring it all together in Section 4, redefining the compliment and stopping the panic.
Understanding this bizarre psychological quirk gives us our biggest actionable takeaway. It allows us to separate the positive data of a compliment from the self-imposed expectations we attach to it. Guys, this is how you stop the loop. When someone says something nice to you, you have to mentally visualize taking a pair of scissors and just cutting the string between their words and your anxieties. The positive data, the fact that they genuinely liked your work, is a fact. Keep it. The expectation, the idea that you must now never, ever make a mistake again, is a fiction created entirely by your own brain. Throw it away. By recognizing the hidden weight, you can actively choose to just set the backpack down. You can learn to accept the kindness without accepting the burden.
I want to leave you with this single, incredibly powerful question from the source material. It's a question I really want you to ask yourself the very next time someone tells you that you did a good job. Are you rejecting the compliment or the expectation attached to it? The next time you feel that sudden urge to deflect, to make an excuse, or to downplay your own success, just pause. Realize that you are absolutely worthy of the praise and that those heavy expectations you're running from are more than likely ones you built yourself. It is incredibly empowering to realize you can literally just say thank you and let that be the end of the sentence. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.